On today's Apple Daily, Apple Music TV launches in the US. A strong start for iPhone 12 and 12 Pro. Mac Mini, how cheap could it be? And Notification Squad updates.
This is the Apple Daily.
I'm David for Living on iPad, and I simplify Apple so that everything just works for you. If you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 12 UTC, like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. And that will make you join our notification squad, like the guys at the end of this video, who will be getting a shout out because they let me know in the comments that they'd done all those things. So first up, Apple TV launches in the US. So this is essentially Apple's version of MTV as far as I can tell. Streaming live music videos 24 hours a day. It's a surprise new channel. There was no real kind of information about it ahead of time. It just kind of happened. It just arrived. They're also going to be including music documentaries, new premieres on a Friday night, stuff like that. It's a cool feature. It's a cool thing for Apple to have, and it is completely free for Apple owners as long as they live in America. So I can't really tell you much more about it because I won't get to play with it. All that being said, it's cool that this service is starting up. It's almost certainly going to come to other territories. There's very few Apple products that live just in America and nowhere else apart from Apple Card. So something to look forward to. Apple's iPhone 12 and 12 Pro get a really strong start. So according to Ming-Chi Kuo, who's one of the guys that you just listened to as an Apple analyst, he says that the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro launch has been incredibly successful for Apple, notching up between 7 and 9 million pre-orders in the first weekend. The demand for it pretty much matches what the demand was for the whole of the iPhone 11 range, because that all went on sale together, remember. It was very, very close to the amount of phones that were sold there. And obviously there are a good number of people who are going to be waiting for the iPhone 12 mini and the iPhone 12 Pro Max, because smallest iPhone that they've had for a long time, but with a decent sized display, and also the best of the best phones. Now, I would expect that those two phones are going to be the iPhone 12 Pro Max, which is the one that I'm going for. That will probably capture maybe 15% of the market. It is very specialised and it is very high end. However, it looks like the iPhone 12 Pro has done a lot better than everyone expected, which baffles me because it doesn't appear to be that much better than the iPhone 12. Like, for me, if you are thinking of getting a 6.1 inch phone, you should probably go for the 6.1 inch iPhone 12. The 12 Pro for $200 extra. You get a bit more storage, you get a fancier material, you get the extra camera, and you get the HDR at 60 with Dolby Vision. I don't know if there's enough extra there for most people, unless you're very much a photographer, in which case you probably want the bigger sensors that are in the iPhone 12 Pro Max, with that 47% bigger sensor and better low light. So for me, it doesn't make a lot of sense that people go in for that. However, it's apparently been very strong in China because they really like that kind of luxury feel. Absolutely fine. That's all cool by me. But it's a good start for Apple this year because obviously the pre-orders are a bit later. There's a lot of people that have suffered financially during the coronavirus outbreak. So fair play, pretty good result. And Mac Mini, how cheap could it be? Now, I was thinking about this, and I will be completely honest with you, this segment of the show today is me speculating and looking at some cool stuff that sprung to mind, because obviously yesterday we talked about the Mac Mini potentially having that $500 starting price, which is what it historically always had as an entry point to the Mac ecosystem, and how people that had a PC would be able to literally just buy the Mac Mini, attach it to their existing keyboard, mouse and display, and get straight into a Mac. It was always designed to be that lowest price point Mac, but I think with Apple Silicon, Apple could actually go much lower than that. So I've collaborated with Apple Tomorrow on Twitter. We've spoken with him before on the show. I will put a link up here so you can actually watch us chat about how he creates his concepts. I was thinking to myself, how could they make this cheap? And there's actually a lot of precedent, especially with what Apple's been doing very recently. We can now have a HomePod that starts at $99. We can have an Apple Watch that's still being sold brand new by Apple at $199. We've got iPhones starting at $399, iPads that you can buy for $329, and that is kind of the starting point that I'm going from with this, because I think Apple is trying to access much more of the market that isn't looking for a luxury device, because they want to bring more people into their ecosystem potentially to subscribe to things like Apple One. So if we think about the iPad 8th generation, that is essentially everything you would need to be in a base level Mac. So you're going to get a bunch of stuff that you don't need. You've got a display, you don't need it, throw it away. You've got a touch layer, you don't need it, throw it away. You've got a battery, you don't need it, throw it away. All we need is the processor. We need some kind of casing for it. We need to be able to accept power. We need I/O, and we need storage on board. So that's all pretty easy to do. I think Apple could go to 3 or 4 USB-C ports on the back, which can handle power, they can handle display, they can handle I/O. You put your Wi-Fi and your Bluetooth in the system on a chip. Probably don't need cooling solution because iPads don't. Although they have got a lot of surface area, they can kind of spread the heat out, but they just don't get that hot. Power supply, I think they should bring that in through USB-C as well, so they can use the power adapters that they've already got. That makes a lot of sense. And then potentially you could even run it off of a power brick, like a mobile charger, and have an iPad running as a display, so you could almost use it as a mobile Mac as well in a pinch. When you look at the fact that the iPad is $329 retail and you can throw a lot of it away, yes, we would probably want to put an A14 in there, which is going to be more expensive than the A12 that they're putting in. But let's start with an iPad Air, which has got the A14 in it. Get rid of the display, which is more expensive than the one in the iPad 8th gen. Get rid of the battery. Get rid of that lovely aluminium enclosure. And to be honest, we could probably shrink the Mac Mini down a lot compared to what we have at the moment. The Mac Mini at the moment was built around the fact that we had to have spinning hard drives, and we had to have sticks of RAM in there, and we had to have a cooling system, and it had a power supply built into it that was bringing everything down from mains voltage. That could be just on the power adapter like the HomePod Mini is going to get, because that's going to get a 20 watt USB-C power adapter, and then you just plug it into that. All of that could actually fit in something the size of not the Mac Mini, but the Apple TV. And at that point, if they're looking at doing an A14X or an A14 based Apple TV, it could be the same device. And how much is an Apple TV? $200? $250 maybe, outside edge, if they're putting the latest processors in it. Currently, the Apple TV 4K includes an A10X Fusion chip, which was basically the higher end version of the A10. If we're going to be moving it up, this would be a perfectly capable Mac machine in the form of the Apple TV, which is a little puck that you could chuck in your pocket and take to the office with you if that's what you needed to do. Or if you're away travelling, you can plug it into the hotel TV. I think that's going to be a really compelling option, and if Apple can get the price even lower than that $500, maybe what we were saying in my Apple Silicon Timelines video about having the Mac Mini as a computer that you can use to upgrade existing Macs. So for example, my iMac here, 2013, this can't run Big Sur. If I could buy one of those and just plug it straight into the display port on the back, into the Thunderbolt 2, I think it is, port, and have that run as itself, but using the display from my iMac, that would be a great way to reduce waste as well. So if it could go into an Apple TV style housing, much smaller than the current Mac Mini, would they call it a Mac Nano? That'd be quite cool as well. But they seem to be going with the Mini branding at the moment. The other thing I would really love to see is actually if they could make a version of it that has like a Perspex shell that it can kind of float on my desk like an old G4 as a retro kind of accessory type feature. And if they do make it, and Apple doesn't make a stand like that, please somebody do it. As I say, this is all conjecture. The renders that you've just seen, they are all from Apple Tomorrow on Twitter. Please go and follow him. He is a great guy. He's putting out some amazing work. And with these things, I literally said to him, would you be interested in making these? And he said, I'm already at my computer making them. And he was, I think within an hour we had a few renders ready to go. That is incredible. If you need any custom rendering done for your job or for anything else that you're doing, get in touch with him because he deserves to make some money from what he's doing. So one other little idea that I had was potentially the top of that puck could have a MagSafe charger built into it, so that if you've got an iPhone that needs to be charged or paired potentially with the Mac, you could use that. I would expect they would use Bluetooth peripherals rather than wiring things to it. MagSafe in the top, that can also charge maybe the Magic Mouse, so you don't have to do the ridiculous thing of plugging a cord into the bottom of it so you can't use it. But yeah, what do you think of that idea for a Mac Mini? As I say, very much a concept, but I think they could get it down if they wanted to into the kind of something beginning with a 2, maybe even 299. That would be amazing value, and I think a lot of people would move over to those, especially people that already own an iPhone. and they're like, well, I'd really like to see what a Mac is like, but I don't want to be in for $1,000 straight away. $300 would be a super easy starting point. So into my notification squad, we've got a couple of new members today. Imran Ali Daramisi and Thomas Rundle. Thank you so much for joining the notification squad. These are the guys that have subscribed to the channel, hit the notification bell, and let me know in the comments so that I can give them a shout out. And thank you so much for doing that. If you want a shout out, do exactly the same thing and I will shout you out in our next episode. We are getting very close to our 1,000 subscribers. Let's keep it going. If you know anyone else that would enjoy these videos, a share would be super appreciated. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the next one.